This woman killed her multiple husbands and son for money and almost got away with it. This case left me baffled. It's actually insane. Hi, I'm Meg. I talk about your crime. Let's get into this case. So today we're talking about Judy. This is her last name. I have no idea how I'm even meant to pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it. People referred to her as the Black Widow. She was born on the 4th of April, 1943 in Texas. The name given to her at birth was not Judy. It was actually Judy Welty. And her childhood was traumatic. It was bad. When she was only 2 years old, her mom died of tuberculosis. From 1945 to 1955, Judy and her younger brother were sent by their father to live with their grandparents, and their 2 older siblings were put up for adoption. When Judy was 12 years old, her father remarried, and her father would end up taking her and her little brother back in and moving them to their new house in New Mexico. So she now lived with her younger brother, dad, new stepmother, and 2 stepbrothers. The treatment she received in this house was apparently atrocious. She would be burnt with SIGs, made to work long hours in the house, starved and beaten. I do not understand how you could do that to anyone, let alone a child. But it wasn't long until Judy reached her breaking point. In 1957, when she was only 14 years old, she had had enough, and she threw hot grease onto her stepbrothers and attacked her stepmother and dad. She was arrested and spent 60 days in jail. And instead of going back home after those 60 days, she asked the judge to send her to a juvenile center/school. It was a reformatory juvenile center. And she would graduate there in 1959 and cut all ties with her entire family. But unfortunately, the damage was done. At only 17, she changed her name to Anna Schultz, started working as a nurse, and got pregnant. She gave birth to her son, Michael Schultz, in 1961. The father, still unknown to this day, but she would end up giving him up for adoption. Only a year later, she met a man called James Goodyear, fell in love with him, and married him. Together, the couple had a son called James Jr. and a daughter called Kimberly. And eventually, they actually adopted Michael, her first son, back into the family. Judy's husband James was in the Air Force, and so he did a tour in Vietnam. But only 3 months after returning from his tour in Vietnam, James fell ill out of nowhere. He went from incredibly healthy to incredibly ill like that. And the doctors just couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And on the 15th of September 1971, James passed away from natural causes. Judy was clearly mourning her husband because it took her 5 days to cash out his life insurance money. She got $28,000 from the life insurance and $60,000 from the veteran benefits. Oh, and get this, only a month later, her house accidentally caught fire. Get used to the word accidentally. So she was able to get another $90,000 in insurance because of the house fire. So Judy's over here thinking she found a quick cash hack. And she was not going to stop with her first husband. She then met Bobby. She took the kids, she moves to Colorado with her new man, Bobby. So she met him in 1972. 1974, Bobby gets really sick. And the doctors are unable to figure out what's wrong with him. Bobby spent about a month in hospital, and when he was finally seemingly better, he was discharged. But then somehow, 2 days after coming home, he dies of cardiac arrest. Now I want you to guess what Judy then did. She cashed in his life insurance. At this point, people were a little bit suspicious of Judy, but they literally couldn't prove anything. And also, you have to remember that she moved to Colorado with him, so no one knew about her first husband either. So people were a bit but they didn't really think too much into it. Now, if you think that's bad, what she did to her son Michael was so much worse. So Michael was the first son I mentioned, the one that we don't know who the father is. Judy apparently really didn't think highly of Michael. He wasn't the best at school. He misbehaved a bit as a kid. He looked up to James Goodyear. That was, I guess, his only ever father figure, which was Judy's first husband that she unalived. And so when Michael was older, he actually decided to join the army himself. In 1979, he was assigned to a base, and on the 6th of November, he decided to drop by his mom's house before going to the base. So he spent some time with Judy and then made his way to the base. But for some reason, his health suddenly started declining the moment he got there. The doctors actually discovered very high levels of arsenic in his system, but by the time they discovered that was there, the damage was done. Because of the damages, Michael required to have prosthetics on his arms and braces on his legs. He was no longer able to walk, and these braces on his legs were metal and super, super heavy. And because of all this, he was discharged from the military. I'm pretty sure at this point he might have moved in with Judy, and one day she thought, I'm gonna take you out for the day. Judy's plan for this day out was to take Michael and his brother out on a canoe ride. But out of nowhere, the canoe capsized, and Michael's metal braces on his legs were so heavy that he sunk to the bottom of the lake, but Judy and her other son managed to make it out alive. Can we just all collectively agree that Judy's literally the worst for that? That is horrible. An investigation took place, no signs of foul play, apparently. Judy cashes in $20,000 in life insurance. She then meets the final man in the story, John. John was rich, and Judy lied about her entire backstory to him. At this point, she actually was using the name Judy, however you say that. Apparently, this is a translation of Goodyear, which was her first husband's last name, which is crazy. She convinces John to take out life insurance, just in case. One of her lies to John was that she was a military nurse. And so she started really taking an interest in his health, saying that he needs to take better care of it, offering him these new vitamins. But soon after John started taking these vitamins, he actually got hospitalized. But luckily for him, he didn't die in hospital. They were able to help him out. They weren't really sure what was causing it though, but he stopped taking the vitamins. In June of 1983, Judy announced to John that she was pregnant. And he was so excited, and he thought that he should go out to the shop, get some champagne to celebrate. But this is where it gets, once again, insane. He gets in his car to go and get the champagne, and when he turns the key, in his car, it explodes. John was immediately rushed to the hospital, given surgery, extensive surgery, but he survived. Judy at this point was probably like, what? I find it really bizarre though that Judy changed her MO like that. Because the moment the authorities checked the car, they were able to see that was planted. By that, I mean a car. I don't know if I can say that on this app. So all of her lies fell apart literally so quick. So quick. Her pregnancy being one of those lies. John, understandably, fuming. But he remembered that he had actually kept some of those vitamins that Judy was giving him, and he handed them in to authorities to get them tested. Those vitamins had really dangerous ingredients in them. Ingredients that humans are not meant to be ingesting. The materials used to tweak the car were found in her house. She was arrested, and then finally, they connected all, and I mean all, the dots. She never admitted to any of it, by the way. If I was the judge, I'd be like, Judy, be fucking for real, come on. After many, many attempts of gaslighting the jury into thinking she was framed. By whom? By who, Judy? She was obviously found to be guilty and sentenced to death by the electric chair. So glad that John survived that. If it wasn't for all the screw-ups with him, she probably would have got away with all of this. I just think at that point she thought she was, untouchable. She thought she could get away with it. But no. You couldn't, Judy. Let me know what you think of this case in the comments. Let me know what case you want me to cover next. Thanks for watching. Bye!